The voice of sharing. Durian ASEAN.
Hello, welcome to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing. Well, I used to be able to access to quite a number of news media platforms in Malaysia, of course, to collect the news and update myself. However, it seems the choice is getting narrower and narrower. The Edge Media Group has decided to shut down the Malaysian Insider, or TMI, some 8 years after the news portal was started in 2008. And it was even said that it was closed down for commercial reasons, quote unquote. And I have a lot of questions in my mind. So let's continue this news at ASEAN Dailies. On ASEAN Dailies, we will bring you daily updates and commentaries on issues and events that are impacting this region. I'm your host, Grace Cho, and today, on Tuesday, March 15, 2016, we will bring you the latest politics and current affairs news from Southeast Asia. Our top story today, as I mentioned shortly before, TMI, Malaysian Insider, is closed down. We work as impartial journalists to inform Malaysians and other readers so that they make informed decisions. We worked to make all voices heard in this marketplace of ideas. This is according to the editor, Jahabat Sadiq. But our work in the Malaysian Insider has now come to an end in Malaysia that more than ever requires more clarity, transparency, and information. The government recently blocked access to TMI, with Communications and Multimedia Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Saleh alleging that news portal had caused public confusion in an article quoting an unnamed source from a Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) advisory panel. Well, move comes amid rising pressure definitely on PM Najib. The government blocked access to this website earlier this month, and two of the Edge other publications, they are the Edge Weekly and the Edge Financial Daily. So these two were suspended by the government for 2 months after reporting on the problems swirling around the investment fund known as 1MDB and this growing pressure on PM Najib, who is this chairman of Fund's advisory board. And according to The Edge, despite its courageous news reporting, the Malaysian Insider did not receive enough commercial support to keep it going. So there were few concerns over this news agency by the U.S. State Department and the U.S. Human Rights Council. What can I say about this? We're living in the 21st century, and when it comes to freedom of speech, why are we not progressing? Well, on other news, we have heard about AEC, ASEAN Economic Community, and we now know more about it since it was highlighted more. ASEAN established an ASEAN Economic Community at Summit in KL, which aims to promote the flow of trade, capital, and professional labor in a single market of 625 million people with a combined economic output of $2.6 trillion. And Malaysia's central bank mentioned that it has signed agreement with its counterpart in Thailand and also the Philippines on market access and operational flexibility for lenders as ASEAN countries move towards an integrated banking market. Positive, isn't it? And let's talk about more. So this signifies the major step forward in advancement of the integrated banking market within ASEAN and also towards strengthening intra-regional trade and investment. This is according to Bank Negara Malaysia, the central bank. And the Bank of Thailand said that the agreement was a foundation for future bilateral negotiations on the establishment of qualified ASEAN banks, or now we call it QABs, in each country. So these two, Malaysia and Thailand, also appointed banks to support plans for this improved trade settlement. Let's move on to the next news. A long-term discussed matter in ASEAN, which is South China Sea. Malaysian Defense Minister Hishamuddin Hussein will meet his Australian counterpart to discuss China's military build-up in a disputed South China Sea, and also holds talks with fellow claimant the Philippines and Vietnam. So Beijing is feeling public pressure at home to show it can protect its claim to the waters after the United States began conducting freedom of navigation operations near island where China has been carrying out this controversial reclamation work and stationing advanced weapons. So U.S. Senate Armed Service Committee Chair James Clapper, he mentioned that China's land reclamation and construction work on island had established infrastructure needed to project military capabilities in the South China Sea beyond that which is required for point defense of its outposts. And what we really need here, after all, is we need to support, and we need the support of other ASEAN countries, not only these three countries that it was mentioned, Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia, because this is important for us to maintain the balance and also to curb the actions by the superpowers, where it could be China or United States. Our last news discussions on the politics today will be North Korean leader and also about the country North Korea. The leader Kim Jong-un has said that North Korea would soon conduct a nuclear warhead test and test launch ballistic missiles capable of carrying nuclear warheads. So another worrying news from Korea for sure, not only to South Korea but globally. Declaring this that the nuclear warhead explosion test and a test fire of several kinds of ballistic rockets able to carry nuclear warheads will be conducted in a short time to further enhance the reliance of nuclear attack capability. So Kim Jong-un instructed relevant sections to make pre-arrangement for them to the last detail. So the United Nations and Security Council imposed a new resolution to tighten sanctions against North Korea after a nuclear test in January and also the launch of the long-range rocket last month. So following these two tests, South Korea also shut down the joint Gaesang Industrial Park, which is a crucial source of funding for the fragile North Korean economy. So a lot of countries have stepped forward to do something against this North Koreans' plans and action. And in fact, according to the US and the South Korean experts, the general consensus was that North Korea had not yet successfully miniaturized a nuclear warhead to be mounted in the Continental Ballistic Missile, and there have been no tests to prove it has mastered the re-entry of technology needed to bring a payload back into atmosphere. And China has come under increasing pressure that it has been reluctant to act because of its possibility of fail of the regime in Pyongyang, which can lead to political instability and a refugee crisis on its southern border. That's all from our ASEAN Daily today. Thank you for tuning into 3 ASEAN. For more updates on Southeast Asia, please go to our website at 3ASEAN.com. If you're on the go, you can always download our TuneIn app on your mobile. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels at 3 ASEAN and 3 ASEAN TV. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. Stay tuned with ASEAN Daily, Monday to Friday, the same time at 12 to 1 p.m. GMT plus 8.
You're now listening to 3 ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.